Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Asterisk, my name is Daniel, an ordinary office worker living in a quiet apartment complex on the outskirts of the city. Every day, my job is nothing special, just paperwork, meetings, and late evenings. Life is repetitive, sometimes boring, but at least I always believe it is safe. I never expected that just one late-night trip to the underground parking garage would change my life forever. That night, it was almost 11 o'clock when I left the office. It was drizzling outside, and the road home was eerily deserted. I drove into the familiar underground parking garage under the apartment building, where the fluorescent lights flickered faintly on the ceiling covered with cobwebs. The underground parking garage was always quiet, with only the echoes of footsteps and the clanging of metal as vehicles passed by. But that day, as soon as I got out of the car, I felt something was wrong. The air in the basement was unusually cold, as if someone were opening the door of a giant freezer. I pulled my coat tighter and walked faster toward the elevator. Each of my footsteps echoed, but there seemed to be another strange sound chasing after me, gentle but patient. I stopped, listening. There was nothing but suffocating silence. I smiled faintly, telling myself that maybe I was imagining things because I was tired. A few meters from the elevator, I saw a figure standing behind a concrete pillar. I stopped. In the dim light, the figure was clearly a tall, thin man wearing a dark coat. He stood motionless, as if he had been waiting for me. My heart pounded in my chest. I had never seen that face in this apartment complex. I cleared my throat, trying to stay calm, and asked out loud, "Who are you?" The man did not answer, just walked slowly out of the darkness. The yellow light illuminated his face. It was a strange face, but his eyes, they stared at me as if I had known him for a long time. And then he smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile, but something cold, strange, that sent shivers down my spine. The most terrifying thing was when he spoke. He called my name, clearly, coherently, as if he had known me for years. "Daniel, you're finally down here." I froze. My whole body trembled. I had never met this man before, so how did he know my name? I took a step back, my heart pounding. I tried to take out my phone, intending to call security or at least turn on the flashlight, but somehow my phone wouldn't turn on. The screen had been lit up a few seconds ago, but when I needed it most, it was dark. The man took a few steps forward, his footsteps echoing through the garage like a creepy song counting down the hours. I quickly turned around to run towards the emergency exit, but the steel door suddenly locked. I clearly remembered that it was always open, so that residents could go out when needed. I banged on the door, calling for help, but the entire space only echoed with my own voice. When I turned around, he was standing just a few meters away from me. His eyes were glowing a strange red, unlike normal people's eyes. I shouted, "Who are you? How do you know my name?" He laughed, a hoarse laugh that shook the entire garage. He replied in a monotone voice, "I know more than you think, Daniel. I know. You live on the 12th floor, room 1205. I know that every night you eat alone, playing low music to fill the emptiness. I also know that last night you couldn't sleep until 3 a.m., sitting and looking out the window like a loner. Every word he uttered was like a knife stabbing my heart. How could he know all these intimate details? I had never told anyone, Not a single friend knew about my little habits. My breathing was labored. My legs were almost exhausted. In that moment, I realized that I was really facing something that was no longer normal. This was not a thief, nor was it some curious resident. This was a strange presence, the kind that only appeared in paranormal stories I had read online. But now, it was standing right in front of me, even knowing my deepest secrets. I screamed one last time, desperate. "What do you want from me?" He approached, stopping a few steps away from me, his lips slightly curled up. His voice was a whisper, but echoed throughout the space. "This is just the beginning, Daniel. You will see me many times. Be prepared, because next time, there will be no turning back." As soon as he finished speaking, all the lights in the garage went out, and darkness engulfed me. For a moment, I could only hear the sound of footsteps fading away, until they disappeared completely. When the lights came back on, the garage was empty, with no trace of him left. I trembled, collapsing onto the cold concrete floor. I thought I was free, but from that night on, everything had only just begun. And you know what? What happened next was even more terrifying. Something you would never expect, ... Watch the next episode to find out what horrors were waiting for me in the darkness